Welcome back to The Metal Voice. Michel away.
Hello.
Dan Chewy. What's going on, guys? From Voivod, of course. Some big news. Big news. This is big news. This is big news. Voivod and Symphonic Voivod, we'll say, right?
Yep.
And I'll read a little press thing here. The legendary Quebec band, which for the past 40 years has stood apart on the global scene as a unique visionaries of heavy metal genre, will join the Montreal Symphonic Orchestra for 2 awesome concerts conducted by Dina Gilbert, right? You don't want to miss this event, and it's January 29th and 30th.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And we had a rehearsal today without the orchestra.
How do you fit the whole orchestra in the jam room? It's not easy, especially the guy with the big tuba, right?
We have the reductor laser gun.
So whose idea was this?
Oh my God, I think we've been dreaming about that forever. But it came through a strange chain of circumstances where I did an interview for the magazine L'Itinéraire, and for homeless people selling magazines on the street. And then I did an interview with one of the journalists for the magazine, and it ended up being published online by La Presse. Mm-hmm. And then the people directing the orchestra, the organization, they were made aware of that by one of the musicians from the orchestra, which is a metal dude. And
Stéphane Lévesque, I think.
Yeah. He's the basson, plays basson solo. And so it's funny because since my cousin Richard Langevin is married to Diane Dufresne, and famous singer from Montreal, and she had done the orchestra before, so they got in touch with him. And then because I was mentioning him in the article, because he showed me how to draw. And anyhow, they phoned Richard, my cousin, and he phoned my mother. And when I came back from touring with Voivod, I had a message on my answering machine saying that the orchestra were looking for us. So quite amazing.
So it was the orchestra looking for Voivod, not Voivod looking for the orchestra.
We didn't approach them, but we always talked about like either doing symphonic shows or doing a soundtrack for a sci-fi movie or something like that. You know, it's part of the dreams we have, you know.
Dan, this is like a dream come true for you. You're a music teacher, so I'm assuming you're really, you have a vast knowledge of sort of how to put all the pieces together, of different musical instruments, like an orchestra. I'm guessing here, because you did the jazz thing at the jazz festival.
I never managed, I never tried to write for a whole orchestra. I know a little bit about it, studying orchestration at university and knowing my music theory and all that. But what happened is that my help with the project was to provide the music sheets to the arranger, Hugo Bégin. He did an amazing work. He took the music sheet that I wrote for guitar and bass, so he had like a template to work on, and so he orchestrated it for the whole orchestra and added his own color to it, and it's very efficient. It's like a movie soundtrack, like the movie we used to watch, like Planet of the Apes and Ben-Hur and
Nice.
Mad Max and all that. So Voivod has been influenced since the beginning by those movies, so you can hear it, but with the whole orchestra, it's very exciting. And so I exchanged a lot of emails and messages with Hugo, the arranger, and we worked really hard on it, and he was really, really fast and efficient. And until the last minute, the last day. There was little modifications here and there, but it's going to be amazing. It it's a dream come true, but it's such big. It's so big that you only imagine something like that in your wildest dream, but you know it's not going to happen. It's so this is just a life-changing experience, a bonus in a career. It's going to be grandiose.
Well, I saw
Yeah.
I saw you at it was what theater was Theater Saint Denis? Which theater was it where you did the jazz festival? Where was
It
that?
was Club Soda, I
Club
think.
Soda, Club Soda,
Yeah.
Club Soda, Club
Yeah.
Soda. I saw that. That worked very well. It worked very well.
Oh,
It was very nice.
yeah.
My
And
my
we also gonna put a lot of work into the visuals
oh,
with a company called Noisy Head, and they're really high tech. It's gonna be spectacular. They did stuff for Lizzo or Chemical Brothers, and also they did a symphonic show with the music of harmonium, and so yeah, it's gonna be pretty sci-fi on visually as well.
my job. You got the French press pushing it out to the French. My job is to push it out to the rest of the world, sort of, right? So I think people who don't live in Quebec, they should make the trip to experience something so special. Like I think this is
Oh yeah,
super special.
yeah.
I don't know. I think this is crazy. Describe one of you. Describe where this is taking place for people who've never been to Montreal. They don't know Place des Arts. Describe the setting. It's not your typical club here.
No, it's at Salle Wilfrid Pelletier. It's pretty big. I played there twice, and but Chewy played there many times for Le Show du Refuge, and it's very prestigious and spacious venue. It's impressive.
Okay. So I mean, it's like a sit down. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a
Oh yeah,
theater. For
there's
people who
no
don't
much.
know this, it's a
Yeah.
theater sit down. When I was a kid in grade 4 or 5, they forced us to go to Place des Arts and sit through the orchestra, right? But they did it for kids. It was for more
Yeah.
for kids, right? But it's sit down. There's no moshing, right? There's no moshing.
No mushing unless the orchestra starts the mush bit.
What are the challenges? What are the challenges in taking your music? And I know, Chu, you kind of talked about it, and sort of interpreting it with an orchestra. You know,
Well, the stretch is not that. I mean, it's already sort of orchestral music we're doing in the sense that there are many movements, and so I think it's adaptable to an classical situation. And also, we were very influenced by soundtracks from Kubrick films and The Shining, and like Chewy said, Mad Max, the early cyberpunk movies, and so we always had this soundtrack vibe to our music. So with the classical side, it only enhanced this side of our music. So, but Hugo Bégin, again, like Chewy was saying, did a very amazing job at making you feel like it's a big adventure coming.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're pretty excited.
You know, Chewy, there's not much room to jam with an orchestra, right? Or to be loose, or to sort of go off. It has to be precise, I would think.
That's
Oh yeah.
the thing with metal. Usually metal, the kind of metal we play anyway, is very written, to the notes, and it's all cogs, get working together like a clock, and it has to be very precise. Of course, there can be an open section or something like that, like we did during the Jazz Fest. We opened the section for the saxophone player to play a solo, improvised solo, but most of the time it's pretty written, and we play pretty much the same notes every night and putting all our energy to it. And of course, when you have an orchestra with 70 musicians, a lot of strings and woodwind and brass and all that, it has to be written, it has to be organized, it has to be played with precision. And the Montreal Symphonic Orchestra is one of the best in the world, so we're in good hands, I think. But it's the same 12 notes that Johann Sebastian Bach was using back then. It's the same notes. We're all using the same ingredients, just putting it in different order with a different aesthetic. But everybody speaks the same language. It's the same notes, the same vocabulary.
The same on my end, in the sense that I have a freestyle, like let's say, like Filthy Animal Taylor, where I don't necessarily play the exact same feel all the time, but I do have a certain number of bars to respect, and I have to be very vigilant about it, because if I add an extra bar, the whole orchestra is lost. So I'm gonna be pretty focused on playing the right thing, you know.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of songs, and you don't have to name the songs, but what type of songs in your catalog would fit and which songs wouldn't fit? Like, okay, the song Voivod, maybe it's not going to fit, but what type of song would fit? And I know you don't want to give it away, but more style-wise.
Well, usually on the songs that are on the longer side, will be more appropriate. But like you said, the shorter trash songs we put aside for this show, so it's gonna be songs that are kind of long with many different movements, so it's gonna be entertaining the whole way through.
It's interesting, I was listening to the E-Force era. That kind of fits with orchestra, I mean, visually, right? Because industrial, it's a lot of sound effects, there's an orchestration feel that you could put there, right?
Especially the album Phobos, but we tried to do the same thing almost 10 years before with Dimension Hatras, which is really orchestrated, but yeah, it's in our blood, so I'm sure it's going to be a great match. Maybe it's going to open the doors to more symphonic shows elsewhere, on the planet.
Are you guys planning on filming this and recording this? I would think.
It's going to be archived by the Symphonic Orchestra, the Montreal Symphonic Orchestra, but it's hard to. It will be hard to release it. Very costly, because you need to pay every musician, and there's the union. I think it's going to be documented by the OSM for their own archives. So who knows? Maybe one day we can release it. That'd be great.
How far does it go back? Rock and roll and orchestra. How far does that go back? Think of something. Think of an album. Think of a show.
First I heard was Deep Purple. They did one with an orchestra, and also I really liked when I was a kid. The Who, Tommy, the rock opera. For me, I was a big fan of rock operas, and I think it sort of has the orchestrated feeling,
Yeah, Dan, you?
I don't know. Of course, there's the Beatles. They had the strings on some albums, but it was not on the rock and roll title songs. I mean. So it's hard
Beach
to
Boys.
remember.
Beach Boys.
Beach Boys might
Pet
be.
Sounds.
Yeah. And there was an era where, the jazz bands were playing with, big bands, and people were dancing on it. It was the pop music of that era, but it's not. I mean, it's only brass, but there was a mix already of different instrumentation for this kind of music.
Look, Pet Sounds was 1966. The Beatles was 1967 with Sgt. Pepper. Then you had the Moody Blues with Nights in White Satin. That was the big one. That was like all orchestra and just, some vocals, right? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big hit.
Yeah. And then Deep Purple in 69 with their Concerto for a Group or whatever it was called. Then The Doors in 69 with Soft Parade. Metallica, S&M in 1999, Kiss Alive 4 in 2003. Of course, there's a lot more, but Voivod 2025. You've joined the club. But
Yes.
here's the interesting thing. We used to have bands, rock bands, and orchestra, but now you have genres that are bland. That's all they do. Bands, that's all they do is they play symphonic music, right? So is that something maybe you want to do on your next album? Like Voivod symphonic new songs?
Um, Symphonic is a term that people use a bit to describe an aesthetic, but symphonic needs an orchestra. If you don't have the orchestra, it's not symphonic. It's as simple as that. So you can write um, in a orchestrated mind though with little elements. Like in Voivod, there's one guitar, one bass, one vocal, one drum. That's it. So you have to manage all the ingredients and the notes and the interaction between instrument and voice and everything to make it, like I said earlier, organized and interesting. But we always write that way. It's always, I mean, since I'm in the band and before, it always, and that's why I became a fan of Voivod before playing in the band. It's because it was so organized and well written, and I think Piggy listened to, and you guys, all of you guys, listened to a lot of different stuff like prog rock and classical, and Varese and Penderecki and Stravinsky, from the classical world, and all the well-written music from the 70s, from the prog rock bands like Gentle Giant and Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And they did an album with orchestra as well, right?
I think so.
Yes, they did actually at the Olympic Stadium here in Montreal, a live album. Yeah,
That's right.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot. Even The Wall by Pink Floyd, some consider there's a lot of orchestration pieces in there, especially at the end, right?
hmm Yeah. The one at Tom Heart Mother has a very like dramatic intro with maybe a philharmonic orchestra. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Do you see that this? I know the documentary is done, but it's never ending in a way, right? The chapter,
Yeah.
a new chapter is. Are you gonna? I've seen the movie. It's excellent, right? At your
Thank you.
premiere, I loved it. I thought it was really done well. Congratulations. Is that gonna? Are you gonna continue adding to it, or that chapter's closed?
If there, I mean, I think the extras are probably going to be on a physical release as bonus material because we have a lot of material, and like you say, we're still active, so there'll be more stuff to document. But I would say the movie will probably be as is for the platforms, the online platforms. But if we release a Blu-ray, I'm pretty sure there'll be newer material that we can use. Right now, we're trying to clear all the music used on the movie before a physical release. It's the difficult part, yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you have any date, or like is it going to be 2025? No.
No, we're still looking for a distributor, and yeah, it's going to be next year probably. But I don't know when.
Okay. Dan, are you writing any new music for Voivod?
Yes, we started a little while back on the road, but we had some shows, so it slowed down the process. We're gonna go back to it right after the orchestra,
Yeah.
symphonic orchestra. We're gonna focus on writing new music for sure.
Okay. Guys, is there anything you want to tell me about Place des Arts? And I don't know if they call it, I guess Place des Arts is the whole area.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
each they have their own sort of theaters inside, right?
Yeah, they have smaller ones, and they have the big Maison Symphonique, also for the symphonic orchestra. But we're playing like the more of a rock venue with the Wilfrid Pelletier, where everybody can be electrified, and yeah, it's probably 3,000 people or so, and we're playing 2 nights, so. It's a big deal for us, and there are still tickets left, but it's selling pretty well.
Do you guys have to jam with the orchestra? Like, you guys come to our jam room. We'll bring all the instruments. Or are you? I'm assuming you have to rehearse with them, right?
Yeah, but that's the stressful part. We have like a whole rehearsal before the first show, the day before the first show. Then the day of the first show, we have we have to go through the main parts, but it's that's it.
Yeah,
And
they
Yeah.
open their book, they open the chart, and they read.
Yeah.
That's what they do for a living. So they're used to
Wow.
that. We're not used to be in that context, and it's going to be very destabilizing for us. So, but it's going to be a great journey, great adventure.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's
Wow,
really,
yeah.
we're thinking about it more and more. It's coming. You know, it's
Yeah.
a little bit more than a month, but you can feel the excitement, and we heard the arrangement, and we're blown away. And the big Place des Arts, Salle Wilfrid Pelletier, with red velvet seats and golden lodge, you know, and the balcony and all that. And we're gonna have our families probably there, and friends, and a lot of fans, people flying from Europe and from the US, and from the
South America too.
Wow. Wow,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
and we everybody's gonna have to wear in ears, and I'm probably gonna have to play in a plexiglass.
Oh
cage.
yeah, it's true. It's true. You do. Yes.
Yeah,
flying
so
saucer shaped plexi.
yeah, we booked a session at Radical Studio where we record our albums the week before the concerts, and just so we can get used to the situation with the in-ears, and we also the templates that were sent to us by the arranger, and but right now we are rehearsing in at Cité 2000 in like a rock and roll live space, but eventually we'll go into a real studio with headphones and really work on it for a couple 2-3 days maybe, the week before the concerts.
All right, so that's it, guys. So January 29th, January 30th, in a month, maybe 5
Yes.
weeks. Yeah, go. Where can you get the tickets? At Place
If
des
you're a
Arts?
fan of if you're a fan of music and orchestral music and of metal or not, don't miss this, because
Yep.
it's going to be a great moment, and it's historical in Quebec.
So
And people can find the tickets on voivod.com in the shows section.
okay,
yeah.
so everybody go.
yeah.
It makes a good Christmas present.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And we have some Christmas shows in the province of Quebec coming at the end of right before Christmas in Lavaltrie, Thetford Mines, and Drummondville, December 19, 20, and 21. We call it La Virée Morgotte, so it's like it's our Christmas party with Voivod.
Good stuff, guys. I wish you all the success. Everybody, go buy your tickets now. It's Christmas. Buy it for some friend. And you know what? I'd like to see people come from all around, like you said, because it's happening in Montreal. Beautiful city to have it in, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a beautiful theater to have it in. A great band, a great orchestra. You can't go wrong, right?
No, you can't go wrong. Actually, if you're afraid of the cold, there is a tunnel that leads to a hotel right across the street.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And you could, yes, it's a beautiful little area, right? You could dine, your hotels. So everybody fly in, book your flights now, book your hotels now, and 2 nights with Voivod. Don't buy 1 night, buy 2 nights.
You might as well.
You might as well. Guys, it's been a pleasure like always. I wish you all the success.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
very
us.
much. See you soon.